Russia's shadow fleet vessels exporting Russian oil through the Baltic Sea may be passing through the Danish Straits, accompanied by Russian Navy ships to increase provocations against the North Atlantic Alliance. Bloomberg reports this, citing a Danish intelligence report. The Danish side believes that Russia now has more opportunities to challenge NATO with more threatening military behavior. In particular, this concerns the escort of tankers transporting Russian oil by warships in circumvention of Western sanctions. If Russian Navy ships are indeed used to escort the shadow fleet, this will increase the level of tension. The threats against Denmark have become more serious, the department emphasized. This week, European nations have continued to add tankers carrying Russian oil to sanctions lists. The UK designated 20 more vessels and the European Union a further 52. But broker BRS Group believes these measures are having a limited effect. The shadow fleet is still growing by 10 tankers per month and exports are relatively unaffected. The company said there are now 850 grey vessels operating worldwide. Of these, 764 are of MR1 size or larger, an astonishing 13.8% of all such tankers, the brokerage added. BRS defines grey ships as aging vessels carrying Russian, Iranian, Syrian, North Korean or Venezuelan oil and operated by companies either under sanction or with little previous experience in shipping. In addition, the Kremlin may begin military exercises near the territories of the North Atlantic Alliance and increase provocations against civilian shipping. Earlier this week, it emerged that 12 northern European countries were planning to begin checking the insurance policies of passing Russian tankers. Denmark will play a key role in this operation, as its straits are a vital trade artery through which Russia's shadow fleet continues to export oil. At this stage, the initiative of the Nordic countries will be to collect data and ensure transparency, since international freedom of navigation legislation does not allow tankers to be required to provide insurance information unless governments have reliable information about an environmental threat. More significant measures based on the information received may be applied in the future, the agency's sources said. The new Syrian authorities probably did not allow Russia to maintain a military presence in the country. The Russian armed forces are moving their S-300 and S-400 air defense systems abroad. This was reported by the Wall Street Journal newspaper, citing US and Libyan officials. Russia is removing its air defense systems and other advanced weapons from Syrian bases and moving them to Libya. Moscow is struggling to maintain a military presence in the Middle East after the fall of the Assad regime in Damascus, the publication writes. The weapons were transported by military aircraft. They are currently located at military bases in eastern Libya. These facilities are under the control of the Libyan National Army, led by Marshal Khalifa Haftar. Russia is its strategic ally. Even before the invasion of Ukraine, Russia provided significant military assistance to Haftar's forces through the private military company Wagner. private military company fighters were involved in key Libyan National Army operations, including the attempt to take control of the capital Tripoli in 2019 to 2020. Russia also supplied military equipment, including aircraft, air defense systems, and weapons. There are persistent rumors that Moscow is negotiating with the new Syrian authorities about keeping its two military bases in the country, Khmeimim and Latakia. However, there are doubts that relations will be mended. The attitude in Syria towards the Russians, who razed cities to dust with their aircraft, is extremely negative. Russian officials have denied their troops are leaving Syria and reported they were negotiating with the rebel opposition group, which led to the offensive that toppled the Assad regime and who are now setting up Syria's transitional government. British newspaper The Telegraph reported that Russia had reinforced runways and perimeter defenses at Libyan air bases, built new structures and delivered weaponry. Since 2014, Libya has been split in two, with opposing governments located in the east and west of the country. An UN-backed administration known as the Government of National Unity, or GNU, is in the west, and its rival, known as the House of Representatives, is based in the east, in Tobruk. The latter is supported by former warlord-turned-politician Khalifa Haftar, who controls various armed groups in this area. At various times over the last decade, each government has tried and failed to wrest control over the other, but the conflict is currently stalemated, resulting in shaky security. Over the past few years, these Libyan factions have been locked in a stalemate that has kept their country largely free from major conflict, but that has depended largely on two foreign powers with significant military forces on the ground, Russia and Turkey. Frederick Were, a senior fellow in the Middle East program at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, said DW, if Russia convinces Haftar to let it establish a more permanent base in Libya, this would present a major challenge to NATO. The Russians have wanted a naval base in Libya for several years now, and the Americans' main policy objective in Libya for the last 2 years is to prevent this. Wolfram Lacher, a senior associate and expert on Libya at the German Institute for International and Security Affairs, explained, up until now, Haftar has always tried to balance different foreign supporters against each other to avoid becoming dependent on a single one. So current events put Haftar in a very difficult position, Lacher said.